can only be attributable to human error.
You're entering Paranormal.
He meddled in things that you people. He meddled in
Slug.
things. He meddled in things.
Where will we go next? This phantom from another time.
No one, Mr. Muller.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hello, I'm Alex Daikaiju,
I'm Jasmine with
I'm Eli Watson.
and we are
Cryptid.
Campfire.
woohoo! Yeah, world tour, baby.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm a little glad we're finally out of the lock. We're moving on from Loch Ness, making our way out of Europe, headed towards Asia on this world tour.
Wait, we're not doing part 4?
No, we are not.
Yeah, welcome to part 4 of Nessie. Nessie in the future. Nessie in space, even.
In space. Can you please draw that?
Yeah, you know what? I think coming soon, possibly from the Cryptid Cinematic Universe. Nessie in Space 4.
Oh, dang.
Catastrophe Unlimited.
So we did go pretty hard with the 3-part Nessie episodes that we did. So we are going to take it a little easier today. Some lighter research, a little more fun, sort of less involved craziness going on. Still a little crazy, but not as intense as all of our Nessie stuff. So
Yeah, today we're revisiting the Bronze Age.
We're
we're not. We are never revisiting the Bronze Age, let me tell you. But what we are talking about today is a Persian creature, and Persia is Iran, for those who don't know, like me, had to find that out during my research. But Greece is also involved quite a bit when it comes to like language and things like that. So we're in that area geographically.
You know, I like that you mentioned it, Jasmine, because I didn't know too much about Persia before doing some research. The only thing I really knew about it before was there's the video game series, The Prince of Persia.
Yep.
And there's the movie, I think, with Jake Gyllenhaal in it too.
I don't know anything about the movie, but I remember the very like first editions of the like 8-bit computer game Prince of Persia. I can still hear the sound effects of the footsteps and the falling on the spikes and everything.
Yeah, trying to duck under the closing doors and stuff with the little animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, Persia was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I wonder where it is. Well, now I finally know. Finally have some context.
Yeah.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you all for watching Cryptid Campfire and ask that if you enjoy our shows, please subscribe to our channel right now. Like this video and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes up. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, it's a pretty big place.
Surprisingly, right?
It included a little bit more than just Iran as well. It included some of the surrounding countries. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, for sure.
It was big. They didn't call it the Persian Empire for no reason.
They were the big chungus of the ancient world.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
Dude, the movie 300, that's all about Greece versus Persia.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it is. You know, you don't really make connections till someone spells it out for you, like right in your face.
It's true.
well, there you go.
Yeah. They even had giants, apparently.
No, See, that's so weird. That was such one of those artistically creative choices that's like, you know, the Persians looked like normal people. They weren't these hideous monsters.
You mean they didn't have pre-kabuki kabuki masks wearing ninjas with pre-samurai swords in their army?
No, none of that.
Once again, let down.
Well, they did have a monster.
Oh?
They didn't look like them, but they had a monster. A monster called the Manticore or Manticore.
Yeah, if you want to make a big deal out of it.
Or Manticora or Man-Tiger.
Yeah, right. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Man-Tiger. Anyways, so what does said name mean? What does Manticore mean?
That is a good question because I came across a few different meanings, but I seem to have lost them. Do you guys have any meanings of the name?
Yeah, so to put it plainly, it translates to man-eater. There's a whole bunch of Greek words that it's borrowed from, erroneous pronunciations of other Middle Persian words, but basically it translates to man-eater.
He's a man eater.
Whoa.
We will not be singing any more lyrics from that song to avoid a copyright strike.
What's weird is so it just means man eater.
Yeah, it comes from an old Iranian compound word meaning man-eater.
Yeah. So what do they call crocodiles and like other animals that eat people?
Fish eater,
Grass eater, bird eater, humanoid eater.
Humanoid eater, imagine. What's this sucker look like, guys? Because to me, it seems like he's got a lot of qualities.
Yeah. Said to have the head of a man, the body of a lion. Sometimes the tail will differ. It will either have like porcupine quills that have venom and or poison. Pick your choice. Or it'll just have the tail of a scorpion. And so apparently sometimes the scorpion tail, the point, it can shoot out like an arrow.
Yep.
Oh, I got that. It was the porcupine style tail can shoot the barbs like arrows.
They
So
both can.
It can hit you a lot.
Yeah.
Basically.
When one stinger is released, another one grows back in its place.
Yeah. Oof. And what happens when that stinger hits you? You're
die.
Paralyzed. Oh.
You're smashed to atoms.
Not quite.
That
comes later. You'll get smashed to atoms by its triple rows of teeth.
Yep.
It doesn't leave any trace of its victim, not even the bones.
Correct.
Or your money.
Oh, yeah. Eat your wallet.
Yeah.
Yep.
It eats everything.
Eat your watches, any gold bracelets, shoes, your dirty underwear. Oh, what a beast.
So going back to how it has the head of a man, usually this man appears very old. Yeah. And it's said that the manticore lurking in the reeds will like stick its head through and lure people in by appearing to be, like
creepy old man in a cornfield.
I mean, that is creepy, but the ploy is a like helpless old man. So like you lure them in and then you just reveal the rest of your lion body.
It's like that. Have you seen that football fish, the deep sea angler fish? To where it looks like a big ugly monster with teeth and it has the little tiny light on its head.
Yep.
So I guess this is our equivalent on land.
Yeah, and there are also some versions that say it has wings that give it the ability to fly at terrifying speeds. So add that to your pick and choose list of attributes.
Pick and choose.
Nature abhors a vacuum, and so if you have a poison slinging human-headed monster on land, you gotta have it in the sky too.
Well, apparently its fur is also impenetrable.
Yep.
So
yeah.
One way, I guess, you can hunt the smaller ones, and the goal of hunting a smaller one is to get it before the stinger develops on its tail. So you stomp on the tail until basically it can't develop those stingers.
Yeah, and by smaller you mean younger, like the cubs. Like the idea is to get them before they grow those tails that can cause harm to any people. And they were hunted. I read that part and it made me sad because I was like, they're just babies. I'm gonna stomp on their tail.
The alternative is, Jasmine, you let it grow older and then you attack the adult in its weak point, which is the mouth. But there's really no point in doing that because you can kill one by doing that, by stabbing it in the mouth, but then it'll just resurrect itself. So
Yeah.
they're unkillable.
Really?
That's what I read.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I found that to where it would simply resurrect as though it has mythical powers. It's like, give me a break.
Dude,
It's impenetrable. It can fly. It has poison. It has a creepy old man head. And it can resurrect after death. This raises so many questions.
Well, if you were having to go to battle with a manticore, I suppose there is one animal that you could mount up and charge into battle with, and that would be the elephant. Because apparently, the elephant is the only animal that would not be devoured by a manticore, and there's no given explanation for this. It's just that these creatures were unable to defeat elephants, and elephants were able to evade some of the most powerful manticore. And it does, my notes say documentation states, but where that documentation comes from and what that documentation is, I am unsure of. But elephant would be your trusty steed in this scenario.
I could imagine that there's like a meme of an elephant, and it's just, if a manticore jumped out in front of me and tried to eat me, I would just say no. Because that sounds like the excuse we've been given. Like, they just never found a way to kill elephants. They just couldn't wrap their trunks around it.
Just say no. I have breaking news from the Cryptids wiki.
Oh god.
Whoa, does it have a Z?
Yeah, the Cryptids wiki with a Z.
Are you still
Uh,
talking about attributes of the description of a manticore?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
While the first one is most likely false, the second one I did come across on multiple sources. So
Okay.
according to the Cryptids wiki, it has been sighted in the jungles of Brazil and Indonesia, as well as North America and Europe.
Whoa.
Okay.
Get ready. There's no explanation for that.
That's just what it says.
That's just what it says. And I got, though, very interesting, the sound of a manticore, which is a melodious call like the lower note of a flute blown together with a trumpet. And this is what it says, word for word. Despite the beauty of the sound, most animals know to flee when they hear it. You would be wise to do the same.
Yeah. I didn't get the part about it being mixed with a flute, but I did read about it having a voice similar to a trumpet, which is interesting because if you think about the fact that it has this human head, this old man head, that head is not able to communicate because it doesn't speak a human language. It doesn't speak in words. It just speaks in these sounds. So it makes me wonder what it looks like when it would present itself to somebody with, sticking its head out of the grass. Like, does it just stare at them?
Yeah, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Because I'm gonna be honest, if I was out in the middle of the wilderness and some old man stuck his head out of the grass and just opened his mouth and just trumpet sounds came out, I'd be like, I'm about to die.
Dude, it said that they can't talk, so it wouldn't be asking for help or anything like that. So I don't know what exactly it makes.
Yeah.
I guess there's people who are just not quite destined to carry on in this world, and there's some people who will look at a creepy old man who can't even talk, sticking his head out in the cornfield and say, by golly, I'll go out there and I'll help him myself. And they were never seen again.
Going back to the thing about like its victims and killing people and whatnot.
The killing and the whatnot.
It was rumored that the manticore was able to kill 3 men at once without issue and could likely take more than that number if the opportunity presented itself. And we did mention this already, but I wanted to mention it again because of what it ties into. The manticore was famed for eating its victims whole and leaving nothing behind. So like no flesh, no bones, no belongings. In addition to eating all of the victims' remains, it also ate their clothing, money, and other possessions. So because of this, there was often little evidence that the manticore had struck aside from trace amounts of blood. So whenever a person went missing and searchers failed to return any trace of their body or possessions, the loss of the person was blamed on the manticore.
Manticore.
They're very precise. They're like Dexter. They don't leave anything behind.
Mm-hmm. And
Except
then
for blood.
Just a little
Yeah,
calling
a
card.
little bit of blood. And then medieval writers used the manticore as a symbol of the devil. It didn't start out that way, though. During the Middle Ages, the manticore was sometimes seen as a symbol of the prophet Jeremiah. However, positive connotations did not stick to the manticore. Its straight up ferociousness and terrifying appearance quickly made it a symbol of evil, and the manticore in Europe came to be known as an omen of evil tidings. To see a manticore was to see a forthcoming calamity, thus implying bad luck. So kind of turned into one of those harbinger of doom type situations where if you see it, bad things are going to happen.
It's funny how it's like a failed reboot. They're like, oh, it's no, it's part of Saint Jeremiah. We swear, guys. And they're like, not having it.
Yeah.
We don't believe it.
Before we get to the reboots, let's talk about the original.
The OG.
Yes, the first time it ever showed up. What is happening? What is happening? This is a monstrosity.
Said the first person who ever saw a manticore.
Sorry, my computer glitched, but that totally works. So we're going to take you to the account of a Greek physician named, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but Ctesias.
So I tried finding out how to pronounce these things. I do believe the C is silent, and it is called Theseus. His name is Theseus.
Ah.
I watched a couple videos, and that seemed to be the most common pronunciation from some educational videos. So
Tessalles.
What?
Wait, what?
Just
there's no L in there at all. Theseus.
I want to hear Alex say it again.
Don't put him on blast.
It's hilarious. All right. So we got Theseus. It's the 4th century BC, which I think is now BCE. I'm not sure. I don't keep up. Before the Common Era instead of before Christ. Anyways, it's 400 years before that. So he's chilling in the Persian court of King Artaxerxes II.
Mm-hmm.
In his book Indica, aka India, recounts how a manticore was captured and given to Artaxerxes II as a gift. Now, from what I understand, the actual account itself has been lost to time. What we have are quotes of it in other books, like people responding. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Kind of like a telephone game.
Yeah. So we don't know what Theseus actually said. We just know what people said Theseus said.
Gotcha.
You know? But basically, its description matches everything we just talked about, minus the wings. So you got the triple rows of teeth, the old man head, the trumpet sound, the lion body, etc., etc. And this account is what spread the manticore from the east, if you want to call it, to the west, to Greece. And immediately it's met with skepticism because there's another Greek author named Pausanias. Anyways, in his book, The Description of Greece, he shared his opinion that it was just a tiger and that the spikes on the tail and 3 rows of teeth were just exaggerations.
It's a pretty high claim from a place that has a history of gods living on a mountain to throw lightning from people.
That's true.
Right? They're like, oh, get a load of this crap. By the way, I wonder where Zeus is today, spreading his seed, making new demi-humans everywhere.
Oh god. There was another Greek writer who was famous for his works that did not share the opinion that it was an exaggeration and instead regarded it as an actual animal. This is Pliny the Elder. He included the Manticorus in his writing Naturalis Historia. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Naturalis Historia, along with many other animals that are known to exist today. So it's kind of a collection, field guide, sort of. Here's the animals that are in the world, and he included it there.
Yeah. Do you imagine just like making a book and here's all these animals and just like we got ducks, we have geese, goats, human-headed manticores that could shoot lightning and or actually venom at you. Maybe some more ducks. Go have fun, explore.
Yes. I also have this in my notes. In a green box.
Oh.
I drew a green box around it and a green question mark.
And said indica.
No, this says they come out during a full moon. I'm pretty sure this came from the Cryptids wiki, where it mentioned that they came out during a full moon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can see why you put the question mark or put the green box around it with a question mark.
Yeah.
There's also I don't know if maybe you mentioned this already, Eli. There's an Eastern version, because earlier you were talking about where there have been manticore sightings, but there were no examples or descriptions of those sightings. But there is also an Eastern version of the manticore legend, which is said by some locals to inhabit the jungles of Southeast Asia, stalking villagers at night. While it's speculative if the locals actually believe in the mythical creature's existence or are merely carrying on a tradition is unclear. Outside of fantasy subculture, Southeast Asia is the only area in the world where accounts of manticores continue to be discussed, which completely contradicts what Eli said earlier about there being sightings in the United States and other things like that.
Well, that's not what I said. That's what the Cryptid wiki said.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm just, don't shoot the messenger, bro.
Yeah. Didn't we learn about that in 300? Messenger's just there to deliver the message, but they still get kicked down the big death hole.
That's true. Zack Snyder, man. I'm telling you, he's a genius.
Literally invented cinema.
I'll tell you what people invented. The man tiger.
Yeah.
Because I guess from what I read, that it got confused down the line and they assumed that the name Manticore came from a combination of the word man and tiger. Hence man tiger.
Ought to do.
Because that's, Persians, they were speaking English in the 4th century BC.
Just like in 300.
So yeah, a description of a man tiger is that it has monkey-like feet and has tusks or horns. But other than that, I don't think it's much like the manticore.
Yeah, at all. It's not even like a
you
tiger.
You look confused, Jasmine. Is that not what you got?
You said man tiger, and then you said horns, and then you said something else, and
Monkey feet.
Monkey that has not present on a man or a tiger. So I'm a little confused.
Well, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, since we're talking about other beasts, other creatures like that, we already talked about how the manticore is most likely just an exaggeration of seeing a tiger, but there are other legends and creatures that could have inspired the creation of the manticore legend. I read about a couple of them. I don't know if you guys have heard of the chimera or the sphinx.
Yeah.
The chimera, that's from Greek, right?
Yeah.
What is it? The it's like a lion with like a goat on its back and then its tail, snake tail.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly correct. Yeah. And then there are variations of the beast that claim it has a lion's head and the body of a goat. So flipping those.
Kind of flip around.
Yeah. Chimera was known to bring disaster and was thought to be able to breathe fire. And any sighting of the creature was considered to be a bad omen, which we've talked about already. And over time, chimera was actually a word used to describe any type of animal that had the features of at least two animals combined together. So any of those like hybrid creatures that you can think of. So one could say the Jersey Devil's a chimera.
There's the most crazy chimeras are the ones that are real. You think of, because they say, oh, it's a creature with different attributes, something so hideous, so ugly that God himself abandoned it. And we think of the real life platypus.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
The ultimate chimera.
That's so funny.
Oh, dude. They're real, dude. They're genetic creations. They're working on them in labs right now.
Why does it look like Eli just entered the Matrix?
Whoa.
Because I can see things you can't.
You put on those glasses and you straight up look like Keanu in the movie.
You think that's air you're breathing?
More like chimera juice.
Ew, that's gross. I don't even know what you mean by that, but that's
sponsored
gross.
by Monster.
It's gonna turn you into a chimera, dude.
Dude.
You're gonna wake up with like gnarly bat wings.
That's what all the people, that's all the goop that the people are in the Matrix when they wake up. They got to take that thing out of their head.
Spoiler alert.
Why are you saying spoiler alert for all these old movies?
Because it's funny.
Yeah. Jasmine, you're the troll this time.
I know. So then going back to the Sphinx, that appears in both Egyptian and Greek mythology. And it was interesting for me because I've always known what a Sphinx looks like, because there are those giant statues, but I didn't really know anything else about it.
Well, riddle me this, Jasmine.
No.
Oh.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. Often depicted as having a human head and a lion's body, the Sphinx also has the wings of an eagle and the tail of a serpent. Considered to be female because the head is most often resembling that of a woman. And the Sphinx was known for posing riddles to anyone it encountered. If the person struggled to answer the riddle or couldn't answer it correctly, the victim would be devoured. And in Egyptian mythology, a Sphinx was often used to guard sacred places to ensure that only those with a worthy heart were able to enter.
Yeah, and to keep that time-honored tradition alive, that's how game shows were invented. And I predict in the next 20 years, we might get to the point to where if you go on Jeopardy and you lose, you do get devoured at the end.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. It really put Jeopardy in the title.
Yeah.
Dude, Squid Game.
No. I still haven't watched it.
Squid Game, but with riddles instead. You get the riddle wrong. Pop. Wait, you haven't watched it?
I haven't watched it. I know the basic concept, but
yeah,
I haven't watched it.
Gosh, Squid Game with riddles, Sudoku puzzles, crosswords, jumbo word searches, hell on earth, I tell you.
Yeah. So those were a couple of the other sort of creatures that may have inspired the Manticore legend. It's also likely that the story of the Manticore originated just to explain the many missing persons who ventured into the jungle and never returned. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but it was likely easier to write off the disappearance of loved ones as being at the hands of an unconquerable beast instead of a vicious forest animal. So these stories likely helped to save part of the population by preventing too many inexperienced travelers or hunters from going too far into the woods alone, as well as curbing the curiosity of young children. So it is one of those legends that, the grown-ups would tell the kids, don't wander too far from home.
I don't know. I don't buy it. Well, first of all, it's like, how is it any better to hear, oh, your loved one got eaten by a tiger versus your loved one got eaten by a manticore? Like, to me, it's almost the same thing. You know what I mean? Except this time there's no possibility of revenge. We can't go out and hunt this manticore and kill it because it's unkillable.
Right.
And
Well, you have the
False
mental
teeth.
image too of your loved one being eaten by 3 rows of teeth, since someone
Yeah.
said Manticore.
I mean, I don't know. I could see it being a kid thing,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's fooling any hunters
Yeah.
unless it was there. And there was this thing that was like, beware, dude, when you're out there and you see an old man pop out of the reeds, like. But honestly, thinking about it, a tiger could almost match that description because the tiger's got the white hairs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it doesn't look very human-like, but
Oh, head on, maybe in the dark, you just see 2 eyes. And I mean, cats have a very distinctive look when it's like head on.
Mhm.
So maybe you could think it's a human-headed monster. The question I want to know is, do the cubs, when they're born, do they have baby human heads, or is it like an old man head from the start?
Alex is asking the real hard-hitting questions today.
He is.
Oh man, it's pretty scary stuff, I tell you.
Oh man, it's a good question.
Thank you. I also you were talking about the Sphinx. Did you get any of the riddles that they're known
No.
to ask?
No, I didn't.
I know one. I've heard about this years ago from somewhere, but this was attributed to the riddle that the Sphinx would ask travelers on the road, and the riddle is as follows: what creature begins its life on 4 legs, enters its middle life on 2 legs, and exits life on 3 legs?
I actually know the answer, but I'll
Hold
save
on.
it.
Give me a second. Enters life on 4 legs. What's the middle part?
Enters middle part on 2 legs,
Okay.
and exits this life on 3 legs.
I don't know how long you guys want to give me to think about this.
Well, we got some time to pad, so I think about 15 minutes or so. What do you think, listeners?
4 legs, then 2 legs, then 3 legs. Is this gonna be some dumb answer? Like,
No, it's actually pretty clever.
is it pretty clever?
I would certainly hope so.
Oh, I just realized you're wearing a sick shirt right now.
I am.
Ooh,
It's my first edition Cryptid Campfire t-shirt that I bleached tie-dyed myself.
Ooh,
These
spice.
these are still available on our website, aren't they? Or are we out?
What do you mean? The bleached ones?
No, the
bleached
original. I bleached
Yeah,
it
oh, yeah.
myself. The
Yeah, yeah.
original design is still up for sale on our website.
Mhm.
Mid episode promo cryptidcampfire.com. I do not know the answer to the riddle. Please tell me. If I don't want to take forever to think about it.
No worries. Eli, did you want to answer?
Yeah, it's a person.
See,
Because
I thought that because I thought baby crawling, adult walking, but I couldn't get the 3 legs at the end.
old man with
and his cane.
Oh, interesting. All
Yep.
right.
So that's
got it.
one of the BS riddles you could expect from a Sphinx.
Interesting.
Okay, but what's another one?
How many steps must a man take to find himself in this crazy world? I don't know. I just know the one.
Oh, I thought you were about to sing a Bob Dylan song,
Oh,
How many paths must a man walk down before he finds himself a man?
Don't get copyright strike.
yeah. What are you doing,
I won't.
mister?
I'm just saying, I'm just talking. I'm not singing, I'm talking.
Hey, that's what Bob Dylan said.
Hey, old Bobbert.
Bobbert.
Bobbert. So check it. William Hastings, circa 1470, the first baron of Hastings, used the Manticore as a badge.
Whoa. I
Yeah.
mean, it's as far as I can tell, it's copyright free.
Okay. Any sightings? You guys get sightings of the Manticore?
No, I just that first one that we talked about with Artaxerxes receiving it as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Artaxerxes the second. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't think he's gonna come after you.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he's the guy behind all the YouTube takedowns.
Well, I got this from the Cryptids wiki
Oh,
in the comment section below the Manticore article. This comes from, oh man, give me a second. I want to find his name. Put him on blast.
is it Black Yoshi 69?
It is not Black Yoshi. You guys will not let that one die.
Listen,
I
man,
won't. I
he's
don't
in the
even
great
remember.
halls.
I don't even remember what episode we brought that person up on. Like,
I think it was Duendes.
was it?
It was the first one of this
Yeah.
tome.
Really?
Yeah, you got Ivan T. Sanderson, Bernard Hoovelmans, Black Yoshi 69.
Blue Star Omega, who says, this is more mythology than cryptozoology. Have there been reported? He spelled cryptozoology wrong.
Listen, let's not put our people on blast. Let's just read the facts.
Okay. I'm agreeing with him though. Have there been reported sightings? There are so many articles like this that this should be removed. Okay, for a cryptid wiki, maybe I shouldn't say this because we're a cryptid podcast, but I agree.
They got a Z in the name, so like that kind of like is a little umbrella. It allows you to do a little more.
And I just want to throw this out there. If anybody from the Cryptids wiki ever listens to our podcast, we love you and we appreciate you. You really entertain us. And we do use you as a starting point. You help our research.
A lot.
We love you.
You and the edit history of Wikipedia are the best reading on the internet.
So we have XCOM who responds, I hate to say it, but my brother and I encountered what we can only describe as a manticore.
Why are you laughing?
Because the man said he hated to say it and then proceeds to tell us everything.
What we can only describe as a manticore when we were kids. We both got a very good look at it. This is so funny.
Pull yourself together.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. Eli, stop breaking kayfabe.
Okay. Okay, I can do it. I just can't look at the actual website. I gotta look at the notes. Okay. We both got a very good look at it since it was lit up by my neighbor's motion activated floodlights. And the thing itself being within 20 feet of our bedroom window. There were some key physical characteristics that differ from the mythological description. Here's the description of what we saw. Okay. 1, a lion body, about the size of a juvenile mountain lion or large bobcat. The various paranormal forums I've shared this story with seem to think it was itself a juvenile. Number 2, tuft instead of spines/stinger at the end of the tail, just like the tuft on a lion's tail. 3, rudimentary short mane around the head like a juvenile male lion's. 4, bestial human-like face like a man morphed with a baboon edging closer to a human than a beast. 5, red and blue coloration and a pattern on its face similar to a mandrill's. 6, eyes appear to look like empty pitch black pits. No shine, no sparkle. 7, at least 2 rows of stiletto dagger teeth. Okay.
Whoa.
And the best one, number 8. Its roar seemed to be silent. I want to say it was infrasonic, below our range of hearing, because as it roared at us, a pulsating pressure, I'm so sorry, a pulsating pressure began to build around our heads, ever increasing in frequency as well as intensity as the thing kept roaring, which I believe is what caused us to eventually black out and fall unconscious. And that's it. That's the story.
Whoa.
Why was that so comedic to you?
It's just hilarious. I don't know. And so there's one response, SKKSAK says, so you saw a baboon. Sounds like a baboon. I don't know. There's no follow-up. Like, where did he wake up?
Where
was this at?
Dare I say, it sounds like he could have been live texting it, like a Lovecraftian protagonist as the door is struck down by the horror coming in. Just, my God, me and my brother, I think we see it. It's coming. Oh, it's got tufts of hair. Dare I say, juvenile. It's roaring right now. I feel this intense pressure feeling up around my head as this vices are on it. And now I see its dead, coldless, dead eyes, and Mist goes blank as he gets eaten by stiletto-like heels.
You mean teeth?
Yeah, that one.
Stiletto-like heels.
I
Now
when you said that,
I'm picturing a baboon wearing heels.
that's what I pictured when you said, oh, stiletto like so and so. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if it was wearing like old fashioned or the current model. You never know.
Oh boy.
They say the devil wears Prada, but what of the Manticore?
That was the only sighting I came across.
Whew, what a doozy.
Yeah. What about you, Alex? Did you come across any other sightings?
Unfortunately, no. It's looking a little slim out there for Manticore sightings. But it's something Eli said made me curious. You said in the beginning there's reports of in North America, supposedly.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, what if the Jersey Devil was a Manticore that had, come from the east to the west?
Just like Jane Leeds.
Yeah, right. So that's just a random thought I had.
Okay. Cool. No, I don't know. That's I don't know.
Well, did you guys happen to come across the article regarding finding a bathroom tile with a Manticore image on it?
Whoa, no.
All right. So this is the only reason I'm really telling this story is because of the image on the tile, but it is some fun history. It's a little bit off course for cryptozoology, but I figured I would go ahead and share it since we have some time in it. I found it to be very interesting, actually. So there was a rare medieval tile depicting what appears to be the Manticore, which was discovered within the treasures recovered from a 14th century cesspit in England.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Since discovering the chalk-lined cesspit in London at the end of 2019, archaeologists at the Museum of London Archaeology that seemed so repetitive to me. Archaeologists at the Museum of London Archaeology have said it had been transformed over time into a fashionable cellar with a latrine, and this ancient structure designed for human waste contained several priceless artifacts. So up to 100 objects, largely dating from the 14th and 15th centuries, were retrieved from sticky green sludge, including a gold-plated ring, an iron spur for riding horses, and a fork from the post-medieval period. The archaeological team also uncovered a rare medieval tile depicting a mythical creature with a human head at one end and a leaf-like tail at the other. And this was said by Antonetta Lurs, who's a senior archaeologist at MOLA. The MOLA team members found the cesspit while excavating in the basement at the Courtauld Institute of Art ahead of a planned construction project. It measured 15 feet by 15 feet square, with the chalk-built structure having walls measuring about 3 feet wide and 13 feet deep. Lurs said that their preliminary examination indicated the structure had been used to hold human waste for about a century. And he added, he or she, I am not 100% clear on that. I might have made a typo, but Lurs said it indicated the structure had been used to hold human waste for about a century, and added that cesspits were routinely cleaned out, so it may have been used for much longer than the recovered finds suggest. When it was first created, the cesspit would have had seats for use by residents and visitors of Chester Inn, the former town residence of the Bishops of Lichfield, where the Bishop of Chester stayed while in London. And that all sounds very important, though I don't know what any of it means.
It means we've had some pretty important people poop in this area.
Yeah.
Well, when you said Bishops of the Lichfield, my brain said something else.
Lurs also said And this is just kind of a history lesson for me personally when I read about this. In general, cesspits are containers for toilet waste. So toilet seats would have been located directly above it. I know this is all
Nice.
great stuff to listen to, but the objects they found, all of the pottery and metal finds were thrown in probably because it was a convenient place to discard unwanted or broken objects. Though some of the finds, such as a ring, are likely to have been dropped in accidentally. It's quite unusual to find so many complete or almost complete ceramics. There were bowls, condiment bowls with divisions down the middle, like 2 compartments, jugs, probably for wine, complete and intact, dipping dishes, which would have been used to cook meats, or sorry, not dipping, dripping dishes, which
Ew.
would have been used to cook meat. All of these intact artifacts just in this cesspit. And ironically, according to Lurs, the giant latrine was right underneath where the Courtauld was going to install new modern toilets.
Whoa. The tradition continues.
By the 17th century, the cesspit had been converted into a wine cellar, and workers added several layers of brick flooring. And in the 18th and 19th centuries, a small latrine was added in the northwest corner of the cesspit. And as the scientists went deeper and deeper, almost every time they put their mattocks in the ground, something else came up.
No, that's never good.
And then bringing it back around to the Manticore after this history lesson, it was the most curious find, which was this tile depicting a mythical beast looking similar to a manticore, dated between AD 1350 to AD 1390. The archaeologists say that the stylized tile was part of a 4-tile panel made at a tile production shop in Penn, which is a village in the district of Buckinghamshire. And Lurs said Penn's tiles were often used in palaces and monastic sites during the medieval period, but how it ended up in a cesspit turned cellar is anyone's guess. And at this stage, so too is the nature of the mythical beast, the Manticore. But this is my favorite part from the article that I read.
Whoa.
So there's no real reason for the Manticore being chosen to be on this tile. Like, they can't find a connection. Like, they don't really know why it was the Manticore. Like, was it just an artistic choice? Like, did it mean something? There's not very many theories, but there is one theory that I read. Constipation. So and this is kind of, I think, just a goofy theory. I got it from Mysterious Universe. So in The History of Four-Footed Beasts, which is a book by Edward Topsell, it's an illustrated collection of tales of beasts published in 1607. He describes the Manticore like this: although India be full of diverse ravening beasts, yet none of them are styled with a title of anthropophagy, that is to say, men-eaters, except only this Manticora. When the Indians take a whelp of this beast, whelp, I found out means like puppy, so like young one.
Oh.
A whelp of this beast, they all to bruise the buttocks and tail thereof, that so it may never be fit to bring sharp quills, afterwards it is tamed without peril. Translation: after the Manticore is beaten on the butt, its quills are rendered powerless and the beast can be tamed, which we talked about earlier. You know, you stunt that tail growth and it doesn't become as dangerous. So the connection here is, could putting a picture of the Manticore at the bottom of this cesspit be a way for the rich to protect themselves against the beast of the buttocks known as constipation?
Whoa.
And that, my friends, is the most scientific we can get when it comes to the Manticore, I think.
You know, someone said it once and they'll probably say it a million times, but we can't go a regular episode without feces coming up at some capacity.
You know, as gross as kind of talking about that stuff is, it is genuinely interesting. Like, I know talking about bathrooms and potties is
Yeah.
really something we do very often. But like, just think about that. Like, if you found a giant, toilet, it's gross, but like, look at all the things they found in there. Like, that's wild.
It really goes to show human nature. Even hundreds of years ago, given the choice, people will try to discard anything they don't want down the toilet.
Yeah.
They did it in the medieval times, and people still do it today.
Dude, remember the sewer gator episode we did?
Mm-hmm.
And all the people who would go to Florida and get like baby gators, and then once they got a little too big, they would flush them down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's real. Like in the 80s, a bunch of people were doing that.
Just flagrant abuse.
That's
statewide.
upsetting, actually.
What's even more upsetting is in the sewer gator episode, we talk about how many gallons of human waste is filtered a day
In New York City.
It's New York City alone. Spoiler alert, it's like a river's worth a day.
Gross.
It's disgusting, dude.
Yeah. So as you sit back and think about the Manticore, just think about how somehow it's been connected to toilets, and we're sitting here again talking about waste.
Well, do you guys have any more fun non-human waste things to talk about when it comes to the Manticore?
Are we on
Yes.
poop culture today?
Oh, Lord.
We are on poop culture, but there's nothing poopy about Scooby.
Oh,
The Manticore shows up in an episode of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. And if it's not real.
oh no.
Well, it's the monster of the episode. Somebody's behind it. But it's cool. It's a cool Manticore.
Yeah. Does it have poison tail?
No.
How does it stack up against the description we talked about?
Well, it's bipedal in the show, and it's got wings.
Interesting. I was literally going to ask. I was like, so wait, was someone in a mask just running around on all fours?
No, it's bipedal, and they had like a jetpack that allowed them to fly with the wings. And it's got a lion's tail, like just a regular lion's tail. Yeah, it looks more like a baboon, like a monkey. Here, maybe I'll send you guys the photo. That's the Manticore fans.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see here. Whoa, this guy looks kind of wild.
Yeah.
He's like a big hunchback too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that background. The lighting is cool.
That whole show is cool, dude. You should watch it.
Did you guys watch the Disney movie Onward?
No.
I did. Yeah. Oh, there is one in that.
There is.
Did you see that?
Eli said you didn't see it. So in that movie, I also watched the movie, but I watched it a while ago. I had forgotten that there was a Manticore in it, but then I was like looking up clips from the movie and I was like, oh my God, yeah, like that was a thing. So I found the Disney fandom wiki and I really like the description that they write about this Manticore character. So I'm just going to read it. Hopefully it doesn't spoil the movie. The movie is newer. So if you haven't watched it, then I'm not going to spoil it for you. At least I don't think I am. Yeah.
What the hell?
So part lion, part bat, and part scorpion, the Manticore was once a fearless warrior and proprietor of a dark and mysterious tavern that served as a way station for travelers embarking on epic quests. But as modern conveniences replaced magic and any need for quests, the Manticore tapped her practical side, transforming her tavern into a family-friendly restaurant with family-friendly games and fried foods aplenty. She may not realize it, but her adventurous spirit still lurks within. So there is a Manticore character, and she's really fun, and that's a really good movie, and it made me cry. And you should definitely watch it too if you're into like Dungeons and Dragons and like fantasy games and stuff like that. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, like Manticores show up in that as well. Magic the Gathering, other games like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played any, but
Neither have I.
And
And I
then-
probably never will. So don't even try to get me into it.
They tried real hard with Stranger Things.
They did. They did. And then the Manticore also makes appearances in several fantasy novels like Harry Potter and things like that.
Oh, does it really?
Mhm.
Old Harry Perry, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's even did you guys ever play God of War?
Mm-mm.
Well, God of War is you play as Kratos, who was a Spartan who on the battlefield before he's struck down, he cries out to Ares, God of War, make me your emissary and I'll kill for you. And Ares is like, oh hell yeah, this guy's cool. So he gets these chain weapons of swords attached to his arms. He goes around and just starts killing different monsters of mythology, Greek mythology, and gods. And in one of the titles, you start in the city of Rhodes, and it's going pretty well. And then a giant manticore shows up and starts tearing through the city. And I think it's more like a tiger head or a tiger body with like kind of a bird head, and it has big wings, and it starts just going in around buildings. You got to climb on it. You shoot your little weapons at it, and you attach yourself to it. You cut its throat open, and it just starts shooting blood everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Very.
And you're like, Greek mythology is awesome as you just start cutting heads off and spraying blood.
You know, Greek mythology, my favorite Disney movie is Hercules, without a doubt.
Yeah, good soundtrack
I-
too.
Oh, I love that movie. And there needs to be more Hercules merchandise in Disney stores. I'll just say that right now. When I went to Disneyland, I couldn't find a single piece. Well, that's not completely true. There's significantly less Hercules merch than there are of any other movies.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Hercules.
Yeah, zero to hero, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And is that about it, everybody?
I think so.
That's all I got.
I think we've reached the core of the Manticore,
And
examined it.
Yeah. And the truth is, the Manticore is the friends that we made along the way.
It's a story about family.
Oh man, I was trying so hard to come up with a good Fast and Furious joke, but I couldn't do it. To be like, I wanted to make a family reference, you know.
Hey, I don't got friends. I got Manticores.
But yeah, that's about it. Like I mentioned at the top of the episode, we did take this week a little easier since we had such an intense previous 3 weeks with our Nessie 3-parter. But hopefully this one was a little fun. I enjoyed reading about the Manticore. It was, again, one of those things that I'd never really heard about previously. I mean, obviously I saw a Manticore in Onward when I watched it, but I didn't really know anything else about it previous to that. So this was new for me. I had a fun time talking about it with you guys.
Yeah, a nice little palate cleanser after that 3-night rock of Palooza that was Nessie.
Yeah, and I mean the Manticore is pretty hardcore too.
Kind of a death metal vibe to it.
Oh yeah. That's it. So
Yeah, woohoo.
I want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. And if you've watched this episode, thanks.
Yeah.
Subscribe, hit the likes.
Yeah, that's gonna be on the Paranormal Network YouTube channel.
If you're listening and you hear this, just go over to the YouTube channel real quick and hit the like, leave a comment. You know,
Yeah. Right, Vadam Zinga.
Right, Badam Zinga. Have you seen a Manticore? Tell us in the comments below.
Yeah.
Visit our website, cryptidcampfire.com, where you can get yourself a t-shirt like Jasmine's wearing, or our newer design, which none of us are wearing right now. Follow us on the social medias. That's at Cryptid Campfire on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're fairly active on all three. I would say Twitter is the one that we're the least active on.
Probably for good measure.
Yeah.
I did just start having access to the social media accounts. So you never know who you might hear from on there. Could be me, it could be Eli, could be Alex. We're all on that now. It used to be just Eli running all the social media, but we're trying to hop in there now too and get our hands in there with the things.
Indeed.
Yeah. You might even get a message from Toby.
Can you imagine? Toby takes over the Instagram.
That's what we'll rename it. Toby
Toby,
takes over the Instagram.
We should do something. Toby Takeover. That's my
Yeah.
Toby Takeover Tuesdays.
Haha. Writes itself.
And then what else we got? You followed us, you visited our website, you still need more. Visit our Patreon. Patreon episodes come out. They should be coming out twice a month. You get exclusive wallpaper designed by our very own Alex Daikaiju. Every month, new wallpaper as well as immediate access to the previous exclusive episodes and the previous wallpapers. And if you want to see more of Alexander Daikaiju's wonderful artwork, how can we do so?
Well, hello. I'm Alex Daikaiju. You can find me on Instagram, Alex DAIKAIJU. Post a lot of monster, cryptid-related artwork. I do my own comics for fun and profit. I would be remiss if I did not say for this episode, I used the USS Dreadnought Wikipedia. I used THEOI.com. Now you're going to attempt to pronounce that. And I used mythology.net for my sources. And moving on to the source of the power, not of the Nile, but of the Cryptid Campfire, Jasmine May with take it away.
Thank you. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you can do so. My name is the same on both. It's Jasmine May with JASMINEMAEWITH. My sources today included Encyclopedia Britannica, mythology.net, Ancient Origins, The Guardian, New World Encyclopedia, the Disney Fandom Wiki, and Mysterious Universe.
Heck yeah. A good hefty list for a good fun episode. And we're passing it on right to the Eli Watson, the man, the myth, the legend. Well, the man behind driving the car that is the Rock and World Tour. I don't know. Take it away, Eli. I'm running out of steam.
It's okay. Well, hello everyone. You can follow me at the Eli Watson. My sources for today come from the Wikipedia, the Cryptids Wiki, Britannica, and mythology.net.
Nice.
Yeah, wonderful.
Madam Zinga.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Join us next week for our next stop on Cryptid Campfire World Tour.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah.
This podcast is a part of Straight Up Strange Productions. Discover more shows like this one at straightupstrange.com.